Welcome back to another of Vendel's weekly arcade quest tutorials. So, this week we have the Illusionists of Qing, and I'm going to tell you right now, don't play this quest. I'm making this video, and it's going to teach you how to get through if you decide to play this quest, but really, my recommendation at this point, just take a break for this week, and don't play this quest. Please, just don't. Because if you do play this quest, it doesn't matter who you choose, it doesn't matter what you do, this is going to be what you feel like for a good long time. Just so utterly twitchy that death is meaningless, that you become devoid of feeling even as you scream out into the afterlife chasing down the ghost of Great Gatsby. As you suffer in pain, burning, on fire, while the stupid Tiandi does her little tiny happy poses, until finally, after you've succumbed, you collapse face first onto the ground, exhausted. On the other hand, if you do decide you want to take on this quest, I'll tell you how we're going to go about it. So the first section is Pillagers and Sow Mesa. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour about the zone that we're about to see, and while that tour is occurring, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a couple of things like character choice and what goes on in this quest. For entirely the first 3 phases of the quest, you're fighting the same 3 people: a Nixia, Shaolin, and a Zhangjun. And you'll just be fighting slightly different variations of them in slightly different places in slightly different ways. But this quest also introduces a new modifier, 2 new modifiers. One, light attack damage down, reduces the damage of your light attacks, and heavy attack damage down, which does exactly what that says. So this quest is kind of repetitive, and you can fight through everything in it up until the 4th phase fairly entirely, and then the 4th phase you're forced to fight fairly, kind of. And you'll see what I mean by that when we get there. But I highly recommend, if you do attempt to do this quest, that you just cheat your way through all of the opening fights, because let's just be honest, this quest sucks. It's the hardest one. This is the quest that's taken me the longest of any quest that I've done. And if I wasn't making these videos, I would have not finished it. I would have given up. I spent probably over 2 hours on the final phase and just attempting to it, like, unendlessly. It was awful. But anyways, so getting back to how we actually go through this quest, take out the Nuxia by using just the rolling bin. The rolling bin does take a little while to come out before it goes down the channel and takes her out, so you do have to kind of bait, taunt, play with her for a little bit. After that, I recommend engaging the Shaolin. If you wish to, you can kick him off one of the edges here, or you can engage him using the buff, as I do here. In general, something I noticed about the AIs in the first 3 of these quests is, for some reason, they don't parry quite as frequently as other AIs. Maybe I just got lucky with my playthroughs, but I wasn't getting parried as frequently. But anyway, so just handle them in turn. If you need to, as you saw earlier, there is a health booster up ahead. All the boosts regenerate too, so you could go grab another attack boost from up top if you feel like you need that. Also, be aware, you'll notice the little arrows that keep appearing in me. They stagger you if you're standing here. There's a few archers that just like screw with you for no good reason and make it a little bit harder. But I mean, still, you play it careful and you'll get through. But like I said, you can see me opening up with a few hits here that the Zhangjun doesn't actually parry me out of, which I was actually really surprised. And you know, I was happy with it, and eventually you'll just pull out and get the win on that one. This first phase isn't too bad. It's definitely the easiest of the phases, especially since they all start out separately, and there's exploits you can use against all of them. So phase 2, Trespassers in Castle Perennis. So this phase is a little bit frustrating. Again, I'll give you a quick tour of the field. There are 3 ways to win this phase, and I did manage to pull off 2 of them, but I just decided I was too tired of making recordings to pull off the 3rd one successfully after a couple attempts. But I know it's possible because I've done similar things before. But anyways, tour of the arena, and a little bit of stats on the guys. So the Nuxia has high damage, No, sorry, the Nuxia has extra hit points. The Zhang Jun is unblockable in everything he does, and the Shaolin has high block damage. High block damage is particularly frustrating, because even if you block his hits, he'll kill you if you're low on hit points, because block damage is piercing interacts weird on these quests. But anyways, your three options, of which I'm only going to show one, is A, this pit over here to the left that you can kick people off of. B, going to the top of the area and getting them all to go into the blood pool, the bleed bomb at a similar time, using all those boosts and then taking them all on together, using revenge and other things. Or C, utilizing the spike walls on the left. Personally, I think the ledge is the easiest because the spike walls are a little closed in, and there are two extra soldiers. The one soldier here is actually nice because it prevents the others from ganking you, because for some reason AIs believe that a gank is unfair if there's more than two of them involved. And yes, the soldier counts as one of those two. But anyways, so by keeping the soldier alive, you're able to always be fighting only one of them, and so you can fairly easily manipulate them to get the guard breaks off that you need to throw them all into the pit, and quite happily finish off this second phase. This was definitely my favorite way to handle it. The spike wall is just a little bit more difficult, and you'll get shoved into it more frequently. And on the flip side, just dealing with them all with revenge is just kind of hectic, and I definitely think it's possible, but it is going to take you a while and a number of tries before you succeed in it, or before you succeed in actually even just getting all three of them into the bleed bomb. So this next phase, we have low damage on heavy attack. One of them bleeds, one of them knocks down, one of them drains stamina, but all of them have low damage. This is another quest that isn't that bad, and I'm actually going to speed through, for the sake of time, the entirety of this fight. You could fight them regularly. I'm definitely sure about that, given the fact that they have low damage. I didn't ever attempt to. I just didn't feel like doing so. But the easy method for doing this is just kicking them all off the edge of this first building. So this first cliff face. They're all standing on different cliff faces, but each cliff face has guys, and the guys can hassle you a little bit and make things harder. So I find it best to just clear the guys on this first cliff face, and then just wait for them to engage you on that cliff face so you can get them off the edge. Pretty much that simple. If one of them jumps down, I recommend not jumping off if you're partway through a run. This because if you do jump off, sometimes it just like glitches and you don't even target her, and you end up targeting one of the minions, and then she kills you when you hit the ground with low health. A bunch of frustrating things like that happen. But anyways, finish it off. Oh, and so talking about it for a second, you'll notice during that fight that, and the previous fights, that there's a lot of kicking or grabbing involved. Because of that, for character selection, I didn't mention it earlier, but I think someone with a bash is going to be effective. A bash that actually gives good distance push on the enemy, whether it comes from counter or otherwise. Alright, so here we're now in the final phase, and this is just terrible. Yep. So this Tiandi has extra fire damage, more damage when his hit points is low, and gains hit points from attack. You, on the other hand, have 3 down on your heavies in terms of damage. This effectively means that your heavies are useless. They literally do less damage than lights. So I'm going to be showing you directly into how to do this quest because I don't want to waste time. This is awful. Trying to fight her out in the open is just not going to work. I promise you. You miss one hit, one defense, and she kills you. And she's got so many different mix-ups with the unblockables, with the superior blocks on dodges, with the undodgeables, with her heavy trick attacks, with her huge kicks, with her pushes that guarantee lights that take out all your health. So let me just break this down for you. At the beginning of the fight, 3 hits from her will kill you. 3 lights. 2 heavies will kill you because of the burning damage. She can get revenge because of what she has going for her and how long it'll take for you to take her down if she does any damage to you. Also, if she's low on health, a single heavy or 2 lights will kill you, even if you're at full health. It's that ridiculous. Now watch this little tiny clip of me getting kicked while at full health. Technically it counts as you falling down as I pass through the flames. 80% of my health right there. From a single kick. You mess anything up and you're screwed in this fight. So the only viable way to handle this fight is to push forward the ground that you have and get her into this back area here. Once you finally get her into this back area, I struggled for a long time still with getting the kills because it's hard to tell what attacks to counterattack off of. If she stands in the fire forever, she will eventually just stop taking damage from the fire, and it'll just keep staggering her. So you have to let her come out of the fire, otherwise you won't accomplish anything. When she comes out of the fire, though, the tactic is do whatever you can to just get her pushed back in. If you can knock her on her back, if you lay down in fire, you take even more damage, which is why her heavy kick, if she gets you into fire with it, does so much ridiculous damage. And note, you're probably not going to manage to take her down without her getting revenge, because she heals if she's gotten any hits off on you. So in this fight, yes, I actually do manage to come out on top of this. But essentially just playing it careful, doing my best to keep pushing her into the flame with whatever's available to me. I tried flurries and other things like that in other attempts, and you can occasionally get some good damage out, but the only way is to utilize the flame, otherwise she will bring you down and heal in the process. So I get my revenge right there because I knew I was close, knocked her onto the ground, from which I know she can't immediately trigger revenge, and finish her off. Those are the tactics that you need. So to recap, take control, push her back, press your advantage, get her into the fire, and then avoid her revenge, get your own revenge if you need it to finish it, and end it. So I want to do just a little quick show off here at the end with some of the new signatures that came up this week as something a little special and to kind of ease the mood after that awful quest. Alright, so that first one from the Aramusha is just okay. The physics in the Nobushis here don't really make sense to me, but hey, it is kind of pretty and I like it. Hard hitting, I like his Kanabo, his mic drop, a little bit better. It just feels kind of cool. Whereas the heavy hitter, you know, it's exciting, but it's nothing special. My favorite one of the Shinobis is absolutely his disappearance, just because it's so comically out of place. But the victory show is fun. But to be honest, I like all three of the Shinobis. Even the arms crossed has a good amount of flair to it. The new Orochi's is a more peaceful one. He goes down and sharpens his blade. This is kind of cool to me, just because of his poses, but, well, you know. I didn't really like either of the original Kensei, so I'm happy to see this one, but it's still not that impressive, but given he is swinging a giant sword, so it is what it is. Moving on to the Wulin. The Tiandi, it's of course another little bit of a flary one. I can't be happy about this just because I'm so pissed at that Tiandi right now from the weekly quest. Anyways, moving on to the Nuxia. Her triumphant dance is actually one of my favorites of hers, but all of hers are just kind of the same. I don't really like his because it's just kind of a crazy like staff spin. His other ones are a little more humorous or interesting. The Zhang Jun forward march has a very oppressive feel to it, I feel as a victory pose, which makes it excellent in my mind. The Shamans, moving on to the Vikings, is a little fun. It's goofy, as everything from the Shaman is. She's just happy to have won. I'm not sure if I should be happy about her winning, because she still creeps the heck out of me. But, you know, who am I kidding? Shaman's fun to play. Valkyrie, flexing. I love this one. This one probably wins it for me, for the batch. Just look at this muscle flex, and the point, the conceit there. Oh yeah, that's the signature. That's my favorite from this batch of new content, for sure. Moving on. The Warlord has another one that's really good, another muscle flexor, but you know, he's a guy, so it's not all that out of the blue or unexpected, but it is nice how he takes the pose at the end, so that's one I quite like. The Highlander, it's just kind of boring, sword raise and that's it, but I mean, with how big he is, it is impressive nonetheless. The Berserker one, we got one, I'm not really sure what they're referencing here, but it's in honor of someone, so they give it to us for free, actually. I wonder if that's a bug or not. But he turns stone and pointing up like this. If anyone knows what this is from, let me know in the comments, because I don't know what this is a reference to, actually. Maybe I'm just missing something. It might even be a reference to one of the Zelda games, but I'm somehow just wasn't sure what it was. Raider one, again, one that makes a little less sense on the physics side of things, but it's expressive and cool, so, you know, who cares. This one, I don't know how you would position these things to fall perfectly while lancing it in the air like this, but you know, if you did, gotta be honest, that's impressive. It is impressive. The Lawbringer one is a little bit boring. He just kind of like flexes and stands on his pole. There's a lot more exciting things that could be done with him. Same with the Conqueror, but you know, at the same time, this one is kind of just the, yeah, whatever, and that's the point of that victory pose, for sure. The Centurion's one is just another nice little blade twirls where he slaps himself a few times. You know, there's nothing too special about that Centurion-wise. Hers is cool, but I kind of like some of her others better. I'm not really sure I like the whole chin-up expression that they kind of give the Peacekeeper sometimes. Warden's is just a solid blade polish. It's very similar to the Orochi's. I think its classic one is still the Knuckle Crack, personally. Well, that ends it. Don't do this quest unless you really, really want to suffer. And remember, modifiers modify your playstyle. Vendel out.